Under Montana's endless skies, a struggling single dad took a simple carpentry job to mend a farmer's shed. But what he uncovered was a secret billionaire's hidden legacy and a fight for a community's future. If you're ready for a story that'll touch your heart, hit that like button now. Thank you so much. The old truck groaned, its engine stuttering like a tired heart. Jack Brennan gripped the steering wheel, his rough hands steady despite the long drive from Chicago. Beside him, Lily, his 8-year-old daughter, pressed her nose to the window, her hazel eyes wide with wonder. Montana's golden fields stretched endlessly under a pale morning sky, broken only by distant barns and grazing horses. Willow Creek lay just ahead, a small town promising a new beginning, a chance to outrun the past. Dad, look. Lily's voice cut through the road's hum. A horse. It's huge. She pointed, her braid bouncing, her smile brighter than the dawn. Jack's lips curved, a rare lightness in his chest. Plenty more where that came from. Kiddo, this is ranch country. Lily giggled, kicking her sneakers against the seat. Can we get one? Pretty please. Jack's smile faltered. Money was tighter than the bolts on his toolbox. Let's settle in first. Lil. Chicago was a shadow behind them, grief-soaked, debt-heavy, a city that had worn them down. 3 years ago, Jack's wife, Sarah, died in a car crash, leaving him and 5-year-old Lily to pick up the pieces. Medical bills piled up, then rent, then the slow bleed of hope. Jack, a carpenter by trade, took any job building shelves, fixing roofs to keep Lily fed and clothed. But the city was a cage. Willow Creek was their escape. A cheap rental, a quiet life, a flicker of something better. The truck rattled onto Maple Lane, gravel crunching under tires. Their new home appeared a squat one-bedroom with chipped paint and a porch that leaned like it was tired. It was no palace, but it was theirs. Lily unbuckled, bouncing in her seat. Is this it? Our house? Jack nodded, killing the engine. Yep. Home sweet home. She was out the door before he could grab their bag, her sneakers pounding the porch. It's awesome. Jack followed, his boots heavy on the dirt. Awesome was generous. The roof sagged, the windows rattled, and his bank account held just enough for a month's rent. But Lily's joy was a spark he couldn't let die. He'd make it work. For her, always. Inside, the air smelled of dust and old wood. Lily spun in the empty living room, arms wide. We need a dog, Dad. And a treehouse. Jack chuckled, dropping their duffel, one thing at a time. You little tornado. That night, Jack tucked Lily into a sleeping bag on a mattress they'd dragged from the truck. She clutched her sketchbook, its pages bursting with drawings, dogs, stars, a family of 3. You okay? Lils, he asked, brushing her hair back. She nodded, sleepy but sure. I like it here. It feels free. Jack's throat tightened. Yeah, free. He kissed her forehead, clicking off the flashlight. The house creaked, settling into the night. Jack lay on his own mattress, staring at the ceiling. Free. Maybe. But freedom came with a price. Morning broke, crisp and golden. Jack was up early, coffee brewing, its bitter scent grounding him. Lily shuffled in, rubbing her eyes. Her pajamas wrinkled. Pancakes, she asked. Hopeful. Jack grinned, flipping one in a dented pan. Only for my favorite artist. She cheered, climbing onto a rickety stool. Can we explore today? Jack nodded, drizzling syrup. After I check out a job. Lily's nose scrunched. Already, he shrugged, keeping it light. Gotta keep the pancake fund alive. The job had come from a flyer at Willow Creek's diner. Carpenter needed. Shed repair. Thornton Farm. Jack had called, his voice steady, and spoken to Clara Thornton. Her tone was direct. No frills. It's an old shed. Falling apart. Can you start soon? Jack agreed, not asking about pay. Work was work. He'd been a carpenter for years, shaping wood into cabinets, decks, anything that paid. It was hard, honest labor. It was survival. Jack dropped Lily at Willow Creek Elementary, her backpack bouncing as she ran to the playground. Have fun, kiddo, he called. She waved. Joining a group of kids, Jack watched, his chest tight. She'd be okay. She had to be. He drove out of town, the road curving through fields of waving grass. Thornton Farm was a 10-mile stretch of green, its farmhouse modest but proud, white wood glowing in the sun. Beyond it, the shed a red, weathered husk, its roof sagging like a broken promise. Jack parked, grabbing his toolbox. A woman stood by the shed, her back to him, her flannel shirt tucked into jeans, boots scuffed from use. Her dark hair was tied in a loose braid, swaying as she turned. Her green eyes, sharp and steady, sized him up. Jack Brennan. Her voice was calm, like she'd seen it all. Jack nodded, offering a hand. That's me. Clara Thornton. She shook it, her grip firm. No hesitation. Thanks for coming. Clara pointed to the shed. It's a mess. Leaking roof. Rotting boards. Can you fix it? Jack circled the structure, his hand grazing a beam. The wood was worn but strong at its core. Bones are solid, he said, squinting at the roof. Needs new shingles. Some boards swapped. It'll hold, but it's work. Clara crossed her arms, nodding. Do it right. I'll pay fair. Jack met her gaze, sensing she meant it. Deal. He set to work, unloading tools, hammer, nails, a handsaw. Clara watched, not hovering, just present. Need a hand? She asked, catching him off guard. Jack raised a brow. You swing a hammer. Her lips twitched, almost a smile. I get by. Jack smirked, tossing her work gloves. Prove it. She caught them, pulling them on, and grabbed a hammer. Her swings were steady, not polished, but sure. Jack nodded, impressed. Most clients didn't get their hands dirty. They worked in sync, prying off splintered boards, nailing fresh ones. The sun rose higher, warming the air. Clara handed him nails, her movements quick. You're good, she said, glancing at him. Jack shrugged, driving a nail deep. Practice, she nodded, her braid slipping forward. Where you from? Jack paused, hammer still. Chicago. Needed a change. Clara's eyes flicked to him, curious but guarded. Willow Creek's good for that. Jack didn't ask about her. Something in her posture, steady but closed, told him she wouldn't share easily. Clara was maybe 35, her face weathered by sun, her eyes carrying a story she kept locked away. The shed smelled of sawdust and earth, the work easing Jack's nerves. He hadn't felt this focused in months. Clara seemed to soften too, her shoulders relaxing as they hammered side by side. This shed, she said, her voice low. My dad built it. Years ago. Jack glanced at her. Means something. Then, she nodded, her gaze far off. Yeah. By noon, Lily arrived, dropped off by a neighbor. She raced across the field, sketchbook flapping. "Dad," she shouted, crashing into him. Jack laughed, hugging her tight. "Slow down, kid. You'll break me." Lily spotted Clara, her eyes huge. "Hi, I'm Lily." Clara smiled, warmer now. "Hey, Lily. I'm Clara." Lily pointed to a shaggy collie by the farmhouse. "Is that your dog?" Clara nodded. "That's Max. He's a friend." Lily's face lit up. "Can I play with him?" Clara chuckled. "Go ahead." Lily bolted off, Max wagging his tail as she petted him. Jack watched, his heart full. "She's a whirlwind," Clara said. Leaning against the shed, Jack wiped sweat from his brow. "Never stops." Clara's eyes lingered on Lily. Something soft there. "She's special." Jack smiled, proud. "She's everything." They worked through the afternoon, Lily sketching nearby. Max sprawled at her side. Clara brought water, then sandwiches, thick bread, homemade jam. "Didn't expect a meal," Jack said, biting into one. Clara shrugged. "Sitting on a crate. Works better with food." Lily joined, munching happily. "Clara, do you draw?" she asked, crumbs flying. Clara hesitated, then smiled. "Once. You good at it?" Lily nodded, flipping open her sketchbook. Horses, clouds, a dog like Max. Clara studied them, nodding. "You've got an eye. Kid." The sun sank, gilding the fields. Jack nailed a final board. Stepping back. "It's shaping up," he said, brushing his hands. Clara inspected it, nodding. "Better than I expected." Jack packed his tools, Lily yawning beside him. "Back tomorrow?" he asked. Clara met his gaze. "Steady. If you're up for it." Jack nodded. "I am driving home." Lily chattered about Max. "Clara, the farm. She's nice." "Dad," she said, her voice sleepy. Jack glanced at her, the road dark ahead. "Yeah, she is." Clara lingered in his mind, her quiet strength, her ease with Lily. The way she worked, like the shed was more than wood and nails. Willow Creek felt like it could be home. But Jack knew better than to trust first days. Life had taught him that. Back at their house, Jack cooked spaghetti, Lily's favorite. She drew at the table, humming a tune. "Can we get a dog like Max?" she asked, pencil pausing. Jack stirred the sauce, smiling. "We'll see, Lil." She grinned, undeterred. Clara said Max just showed up one day. "Maybe we'll get lucky." Jack laughed, shaking his head. "You're relentless." After dinner, Lily fell asleep, her sketchbook open to a drawing of Max. Jack sat on the porch, coffee cooling in his hand. The night still. Willow Creek was quiet, stars sharp overhead. The job at Thornton Farm was solid good work, fair pay. But Clara was a question mark. She lived alone, no wedding ring, no talk of family. The farm was vast, more than one person needed. Why stay? Why care about a crumbling shed? Jack sipped his coffee, the puzzle turning in his mind. He'd overheard whispers at the diner. Thornton Farm's old money. Maybe, but Clara keeps to herself. She didn't act wealthy. Her truck was beat up, her clothes plain. Still, something didn't add up. He pushed it away. His focus was Lily, the rent, the next job. Clara's story wasn't his business. The next morning, Jack and Lily returned to the farm. Clara was waiting, a thermos of coffee in hand. "Morning," she said, pouring him a cup. Jack took it, grateful. Thanks. Lily ran to Max, giggling as the dog nuzzled her. Clara watched, smiling. She's got him hooked, she said. Jack nodded. She's got a gift. They tackled the shed's roof, replacing shingles under a climbing sun. Clara worked beside him, fearless on the ladder, her nails precise. You sure you're not a pro? Jack teased. Passing a shingle, Clara smirked. I adapt. Their hands brushed, a fleeting warmth. Jack looked away, focusing on the work. Clara was easy to be around, but he was here for a paycheck, not complications. By midday, a black sedan rolled up the drive, its sleek frame jarring against the farm's dust. Clara stiffened, her hammer still. Stay here, she told Jack. Climbing down, she crossed the yard, her posture rigid. Jack watched, a knot in his gut. The man Richard Hayes, he'd learned, stepped out, suit crisp, his voice low but sharp. Clara's reply carried, firm. I told you, Richard, it's not for sale. Lily, sketching by the shed, looked up. Who's that? Dad. Jack frowned, keeping his tone calm. Not sure. Kiddo, keep drawing. Hayes glanced at Jack, his eyes narrowing, then back to Clara. You're throwing away millions, he said, loud enough to hear. Clara crossed her arms. My land, my rules. Hayes scoffed, sliding into his car. The sedan sped off, dust swirling. Clara returned, her face tight. All good? Jack asked, cautious. She nodded, curt. Fine, but her hands trembled as she grabbed a nail. Jack didn't press. He knew that look, someone fighting a battle they didn't choose. They worked in silence, the air heavier. Lily, sensing the shift, stayed close, her pencil scratching softly. That evening, Clara invited them for dinner. Nothing big, she said, almost shy. Jack hesitated, then nodded. Sure, thanks. The farmhouse was warm, smelling of roasted potatoes and herbs. Old photos lined the walls, a man with Clara's eyes. Maybe her dad? Lily pointed at one. Who's he? Clara's smile wavered. My father. He's gone now. Lily frowned. I'm sorry. Clara nodded. Soft. It's okay. Kid. Dinner was simple chickens, vegetables, fresh bread. Lily talked non-stop, Clara listening, her eyes bright. Jack watched, quiet. Clara was kind but guarded, her laugh rare but real. You cook like this often? He asked, taking a bite. Clara shrugged. When I've got company? Lily grinned. We should come every night. Clara laughed, and Jack felt it, a warmth he hadn't known since Sarah. After, they sat on the porch, Lily playing with Max in the yard. Clara leaned on the railing, coffee in hand. That man today, Jack said, low, trouble. Clara sighed, her gaze distant. He wants the land. Thinks I should sell? Jack frowned. Why not? Clara's eyes met his, fierce. It's mine, and it's more than dirt. Jack nodded, understanding. Got it. Driving home, Lily dozed in the seat, her sketchbook clutched tight. Jack's mind churned. Clara was fighting something bigger than a shed, and he cared more than he should. Willow Creek was meant to be a pit stop, not a home. But Clara, Lily, the farm they were pulling him in. And Jack wasn't sure he could pull away. The sun hung low over Willow Creek, painting Thornton Farm in shades of amber. Jack Brennan's truck rumbled up the drive, its tires kicking dust into the late afternoon air. Lily sat beside him, her sketchbook opened, pencil scratching a drawing of Max and Clara's shaggy collie. "Dad, can we stay for dinner again?" she asked, her voice hopeful. Jack glanced at her, her hazel eyes bright with the kind of joy he hadn't seen in Chicago. "We'll see." "Lil," he said, his tone soft but cautious. "Let's finish the shed first." 3 days had passed since Jack started the repair job at Clara Thornton's farm. The shed was nearly done, new roof, fresh boards, a sturdy frame that could weather Montana's storms. Clara paid promptly, her checks generous but not showy, and she'd invited them to dinner twice, her quiet hospitality easing Jack's guard. Lily was smitten, chattering about Clara and Max nonstop. Jack felt it too, a pull toward Clara's steady presence, her green eyes that saw more than she said. But he kept his focus on the work, on Lily, on the life he was trying to build. Feelings were a luxury he couldn't afford. He parked near the shed, the red paint glowing in the fading light. Clara was there, leaning against a fence post, her flannel sleeves rolled up, braid loose from a day's work. Max bounded over, tail wagging, and Lily scrambled out, giggling as the dog licked her face. "Hey, Max," she squealed, dropping her sketchbook to hug him. Clara smiled, a rare softness in her face. "He's gonna follow you home at this rate," she called, her voice carrying over the field. Jack stepped out, toolbox in hand, offering a nod. "Clara, ready to wrap this up?" She pushed off the fence, dusting her jeans. "Let's do it. Roof's looking good, but I want it sealed tight before winter." Jack set his tools down, inspecting the shed. The shingles were solid, the beams reinforced, just some caulking and a final coat of paint, he said, squinting at the eaves. "Should be done by dusk." They fell into their rhythm, Jack climbing the ladder to seal gaps, Clara handing him tools from below. Her movements were precise, her focus sharp, but there was an ease between them now, forged by shared work and quiet moments. "You're handy for a farmer," Jack said, half teasing, as she passed a caulk gun. Clara smirked, her eyes glinting. "Grew up fixing what broke." Dad didn't believe in hiring out. Jack nodded, catching the weight behind her words. The shed wasn't just a job, it was her history, tied to a man whose memory lingered in her voice. Lily sat nearby, sketching Max as he sprawled in the grass. The air smelled of pine and earth, the farm alive with the hum of crickets and distant cattle. Jack worked steadily, his hands sure, but his mind wandered to Clara. She was a puzzle independent, guarded, yet kind in ways that felt deliberate. The black sedan from yesterday, driven by that slick suit, Richard Hayes, had left a shadow. Clara's sharp words, "It's not for sale," echoed in his head. What did Hayes want? Why was Clara so fierce about keeping this land? "Penny for your thoughts," Clara said, breaking his reverie. She stood below, arms crossed, her gaze curious. Jack wiped sweat from his brow. Climbing down, just wondering about that guy yesterday. Seemed like trouble. Clara's jaw tightened, but she shrugged. Her tone clipped. Real estate vulture. Wants the farm for some resort project. Not the first to try. Jack raised a brow. "And you're not tempted? That's a lot of money." Clara's eyes met his. Fierce. "Money's not everything. This place it's home." Jack nodded, understanding more than he said. Home was why he'd brought Lily here, why he worked himself to the bone. "Fair enough," he said, grabbing a paint can. They worked in silence, brushing red paint over the shed's weathered sides. Lily hummed, her pencil scratching. Max snoring beside her. The farm felt like a world apart. A pocket of peace Jack hadn't known he needed. By dusk, the shed was finished, its fresh paint gleaming under the first stars. Jack stepped back, hands on hips, a quiet pride in his chest. "Looks good," he said, glancing at Clara. She nodded, her expression softer now. "Better than good. You've got a gift." "Jack," he shrugged, brushing it off. "Just wood and nails." Clara shook her head, a faint smile tugging her lips. "More than that." Lily ran over, her sketchbook tucked under her arm. "It's so pretty," she said, circling the shed, "like a castle." Clara laughed, ruffling Lily's hair. "A castle for tools. Maybe. You hungry?" "Kid." Lily's eyes lit up. "Yes. Can we have pie?" Jack chuckled, shaking his head. "Slow down. Lil, we don't want to impose." Clara waved a hand. Dismissive. No imposition. "I made apple pie last night." "Come on." They followed her to the farmhouse, Max trotting at Lily's heels. The kitchen was warm, smelling of cinnamon and wood smoke. Clara pulled a pie from the oven, its crust golden, and sliced it with practiced ease. Lily sat at the table, swinging her legs, while Jack leaned against the counter. Watching Clara move, she was at home here. Every gesture, sure. Yet there was a loneliness in the quiet, a house too big for one person. They ate at the dining table, Lily chattering about school, Max begging for crumbs. Clara listened, her smiles frequent, her eyes warm on Lily. "You like art?" "Huh?" she asked, nodding at the sketchbook. Lily nodded, flipping it open to a drawing of the shed. Max curled beside it. "This is for you," she said, pushing it toward Clara. Clara's breath caught, her fingers tracing the page. "Lily, this is beautiful." "Thank you." Jack watched, his heart swelling. Lily didn't give her drawings to just anyone. After pie, Clara poured coffee for Jack, the two of them lingering at the table while Lily drew in the living room. Max at her side. "She's something else," Clara said, her voice low. Jack sipped his coffee, nodding. "She's my world. Keeps me going." Clara's eyes met his, searching. "It's not easy." Raising her alone, Jack's throat tightened. He hadn't talked about Sarah with anyone here. "Lost her mom 3 years ago," he said, his voice rough. "Car accident. Been just us since." Clara's expression softened, a flicker of pain in her eyes. "I'm sorry." "Jack, that's a heavy load." He shrugged, looking away. "You do what you have to." She nodded, her fingers tracing the rim of her mug. "My dad passed 5 years ago. Heart attack. This farm was his dream. I stayed to keep it alive." Jack met her gaze, seeing the weight she carried. "That why you won't sell?" Clara nodded, her voice firm. "It's not just land. It's him. It's me." The honesty hung between them, raw and unguarded. Jack felt a pull, a need to know more, but he held back. Clara wasn't someone you pushed. Instead, he said, "You're doing right by him." Her smile was small, grateful, trying to... The next morning, Jack woke to a text from Clara. "Need you at the farm. Fence broke. Cattle got out. Can you help?" He rubbed his eyes. The clock reading 6 a.m. Lily was still asleep, her sketchbook open on the floor. He texted back, "Be there by 7. Bringing Lily." Clara's reply was quick. "Good. Coffee's on." They arrived at Thornton Farm as the sun cleared the horizon, the fields glowing gold. Clara was by the barn, her boots muddy, her face tense. A section of fence lay splintered, hoof prints trailing into the pasture. "Morning," she said, handing Jack a thermos. "Cows are halfway to the creek. Need to fix this fast." Jack nodded, assessing the damage. "Wood's rotted. I'll brace it. Replace the posts." Clara's eyes flicked to Lily, who was petting Max. "She okay to hang out?" Jack nodded. "She'll draw. Won't wander." They worked quickly. Jack digging out broken posts, Clara hauling new ones from a shed. Lily sat on a blanket, sketching the barn, Max dozing beside her. The air was cool, the work urgent but steady. Clara's strength impressed Jack. She lifted posts like they weighed nothing, her focus unyielding. "You do this often?" he asked, sinking a post into the ground. Clara wiped her brow, smirking. "Cattle don't respect schedules." Jack chuckled, the sound easing the morning's tension. By noon, the fence was up, the cows herded back by Clara's hired hand. A gruff man named Tom. "Good work," Tom said, tipping his hat to Jack. "Not bad for a city boy." Jack grinned, brushing dirt from his hands. "Learning fast." Clara handed him water, her eyes warm. "You're more than handy." "Jack, thanks." He shrugged, but her words settled deep. A quiet pride he hadn't felt in years. They broke for lunch, Clara bringing sandwiches to the porch. Lily showed her a new drawing, a cow with wings, soaring over the farm. Clara laughed, her guard down. "You've got imagination, kid." Lily beamed, munching her sandwich. "Can I help with the cows next time?" Clara glanced at Jack, then nodded. "If your dad says it's okay." Jack raised a brow. "Playful, we'll see." "Cowgirl." As they ate, a low rumble sounded a car on the drive. Jack's stomach tightened. Another black sedan, identical to Hayes's from before. Clara's face hardened. Her sandwich forgotten. "Stay here," she said. Standing, Jack watched her stride toward the car, her posture rigid. Hayes stepped out, his suit pristine, a briefcase in hand. His voice carried, smooth but sharp. "Clara, we need to talk." The offers doubled. Clara's reply was ice. "I told you, Richard." "No deal." Hayes smirked, undeterred. "You're sitting on a gold mine. Think of what you could do. New life. New start." Clara crossed her arms, her voice low but fierce. "I'm not running. This is my home." Hayes glanced at Jack, his eyes narrowing. "And your new friend. He know what you're hiding." Clara's fists clenched, but she didn't flinch. "Leave, Richard. Now." Hayes lingered, his gaze cold, then slid into the car. The sedan peeled out, dust clouding the air. Clara stood still, her shoulders tense, then turned back, her face a mask. "Everything okay?" Jack asked, keeping his voice calm. Clara nodded. Curt. "Just business." But her eyes betrayed her anger. Yes, but also fear. Jack wanted to ask what Hayes meant by hiding, but Lily was there, watching, her pencil still. That evening, Clara insisted they stay for dinner again. "You earned it," she said, her tone lighter but forced. Jack agreed, sensing she didn't want to be alone. The farmhouse was cozy, the table set with stew and cornbread. Lily talked about school, her teacher's pet rabbit, her new friend Emma. Clara listened, her smiles genuine, but her eyes kept drifting to the window, as if expecting Hayes's car to return. After dinner, Lily fell asleep on the couch. Max curled at her feet. Jack and Clara sat on the porch, Coffee steaming in the cool night. The stars were sharp. The farm quiet except for distant crickets. Jack broke the silence, his voice low. Hayes isn't giving up. Is he? Clara sighed, her mug cradled in her hands. No, he's persistent. Jack studied her, the moonlight catching her face. What's he mean? You're hiding something. Clara's gaze snapped to him, guarded, then softened. It's complicated. Jack, I'm not who people think. He frowned, leaning forward. Who do they think you are? She hesitated, her fingers tightening on the mug. Just a farmer, but there's more. My dad, he left me things. Money, investments. I don't flaunt it. Jack's mind raced. Money, investments. Clara lived like she scraped by old truck. Plain clothes. Why keep it secret? He asked. Clara's eyes were distant, fixed on the fields. People change when they know. They want pieces of you. I've seen it. Jack nodded, understanding. He'd seen it too. In Chicago, friends who vanished when the bills piled up. Neighbors who judged his grief. So you stay here, alone. Clara's smile was wry. Not alone. I've got Max. And now, you and Lily. Her words hung, heavy with meaning. Jack's chest tightened. A warmth he couldn't name. I'm not after anything. Clara, he said, his voice firm. Just work. A life for Lily. She met his gaze, her eyes searching. I know. That's why I trust you. The word trust landed hard. Jack hadn't earned anyone's trust in years. Not since Sarah. He wanted to say more, but Clara stood, breaking the moment. It's late. You should get Lily home. The next week blurred with work. Jack took more jobs at the farm fixing a barn door, reinforcing a stable. Clara paid well, her checks easing Jack's worry about rent. Lily thrived, her friendship with Max growing, her sketches filling with farm scenes. She'd started drawing Clara, too, a figure in flannel, standing by the shed, her braid catching the wind. Jack saw it one night, his throat tight. Lily didn't draw just anyone. Clara was a constant, now her coffee. Her quiet smiles, her strength that matched his own. They talked more, sharing fragments of their pasts. Jack told her about Sarah's laugh, how Lily got her eyes. Clara spoke of her dad's stories, his love for the land, but she never mentioned the money again, and Jack didn't ask. Hayes's words, what you're hiding, lingered, but Jack pushed them down. Clara's secrets were hers to keep. One afternoon, Jack arrived to find Clara pacing by the barn, her phone pressed to her ear. Her voice was low, urgent. No. Ellen, I'm not selling. Tell them it's final. She hung up, spotting Jack, her face tight. Trouble? He asked, setting his toolbox down. Clara sighed, rubbing her temple. Lawyers. Hayes got investors involved. They're pushing hard. Jack frowned. For the farm. She nodded, her eyes dark. They see dollars. I see everything else. Lily ran over, oblivious, holding a daisy chain. Clara. Look, for you. Clara's face softened, taking the chain. Thanks. Kid. She slipped it over her wrist. A bracelet of white petals. Lily beamed, running to Max. Jack watched Clara, her guard down for a moment. You don't have to fight alone, he said, his voice low. Clara's eyes met his, surprised, then grateful. I'm not used to help, she admitted. Jack nodded. Get used to it. That evening, a storm rolled in, clouds bruising the sky. Jack and Clara secured the farm, tying down tarps, herding cattle into the barn. Lily helped, carrying buckets, her laughter cutting through the wind. As rain began to fall, Clara pulled them inside, her hair wet, her flannel clinging to her shoulders. "You're not driving in this," she said, firm. "Stay?" They dried off in the kitchen, Clara tossing Jack a towel, Lily giggling as Max shook water everywhere. Dinner was soup, warm and hearty, the storm howling outside. Lily fell asleep by the fire, Max beside her. Jack and Clara sat at the table, rain drumming the roof. "You're good with her," Clara said, her voice soft. Jack smiled, looking at Lily. "She makes it easy." Clara's eyes were warm, searching. "You're a good dad." Jack. "Not every kid gets that." He met her gaze, the air charged. "You're good with her too." "She doesn't warm up to everyone." Clara's smile was shy, rare. "She's special." Like her dad, the words hit Jack's, a warmth spreading through him. He wanted to reach for her hand, to close the distance, but the storm's roar held him back. Instead, he said, "Thanks, Clara, for this." She nodded, understanding. "Anytime." The storm passed by morning, leaving puddles and a crisp sky. Jack and Lily drove home, the farm fading in the rear view. Clara's words, like her dad, echoed in Jack's mind. He was falling, not just for her strength, but for the way she saw him, saw Lily. But Hayes's shadow loomed, and Clara's secret's money. Investments felt like a wall. Jack didn't need her wealth, but he needed her trust, and he wasn't sure she was ready to give it. Back at their rental, Jack found a letter in the mailbox, a bill, overdue, from Chicago. His stomach sank. The farm jobs helped, but debt was a chain he couldn't break. He tucked it away, not wanting Lily to see. She was drawing at the table, humming, her world untouched by his worry. "Dad, can we go back tomorrow?" she asked, her pencil pausing. Jack forced a smile. "We'll see, kiddo." That night, Jack sat on the porch, the stars cold overhead. Clara was a risk her world, her secrets, her fight with Hayes. But Lily's laughter, her drawings, the farm's peace, they were worth it. He thought of Sarah, her voice in his memory. Keep going, Jack. For Lily. He would, and maybe, just maybe, for Clara too. The morning air in Willow Creek was sharp, carrying the scent of damp earth and pine. Jack Brennan's truck coughed as it rolled down Maple Lane, the engine's grumble blending with the quiet of dawn. Lily sat in the passenger seat, her sketchbook open, adding details to a drawing of Clara standing by the farmhouse. Max at her side. "Dad, can we bring Clara cookies today?" she asked, her pencil pausing. Jack glanced at her, her hopeful smile tugging at him. "Cookies? Huh. You planning to spoil her?" Lily giggled, nodding. "She's nice. And Max likes cookies too." Jack chuckled. But his mind was heavy. 2 weeks had passed since the storm, since Clara's words, "She's special." Like her dad had settled in his chest. The farm jobs kept coming, fixing a gate, patching a barn wall, and Clara's checks kept their fridge stocked. But the overdue bill from Chicago, tucked in his glove box, was a ghost that wouldn't fade. And Richard Hayes, the slick real estate man, was circling closer, his black sedan a shadow on Thornton Farm. Clara's secret money, investments, a life she hid loomed larger, a puzzle Jack couldn't ignore. They'd baked cookies last night. Lily's idea, using the last of their sugar. The tin sat on the seat, a small offering for Clara's kindness. Jack parked at Thornton Farm, the fields glowing under a rising sun. Clara was by the stable, hauling hay bales, her flannel shirt dusted with straw. Max bounded over, barking, and Lily hopped out, clutching the cookies. "Clara," she called, running to her. Clara straightened, wiping her brow, a smile breaking through her focus. "Hey, kid, what's this?" Lily thrust the tin forward. "We made cookies. For you and Max." Clara's eyes softened, taking the tin like it was gold. "You didn't have to do that." "Lily, thank you." She glanced at Jack, her smile holding something unspoken. Jack shrugged, grabbing his toolbox. "Her idea, I just followed orders." Clara laughed. "The sound warms, easing the morning's chill. Smart man." Jack set to work on the stable's loose boards, Lily settling nearby with her sketchbook. Max sprawled at her feet. Clara joined him, handing nails, her presence steady. "Stable's seen better days," she said, eyeing a cracked beam. Jack nodded, hammering a board into place. "It'll hold. Just needs care." Clara's gaze lingered on him, thoughtful. Like most things, they worked in rhythm, the farm waking around them, cattle lowing. Tom, the hired hand checking fences. Jack's hands moved with purpose, but his mind churned. Clara's fight with Hayes was escalating. Last week, another car had come, not Hayes, but a woman in a sharp blazer. Her clipboard and questions met with Clara's curt refusal. Not selling. Ever. Jack hadn't asked. But the tension in Clara's shoulders told him enough. She was holding a line, one that cost her. "Got a new job for you," Clara said, breaking his thoughts. She leaned against the stable, her braids slipping forward. "Porch railing at the house. It's wobbly. Think you can handle it?" Jack grinned, wiping sawdust from his hands. "Porch. Huh. You're keeping me busy." Clara's eyes glinted. Playful. "Gotta keep you out of trouble." Jack laughed, the ease between them a balm. "Deal. Tomorrow." She nodded, then hesitated, her voice lowering. "Jack. About Hayes. He's not just after the farm. There's more." Jack's stomach tightened, his hammer still. "More." Clara glanced at Lily, then back to him, her eyes guarded. "Later, when we're alone." Jack nodded, sensing the weight of her words. Whatever Clara was hiding, it was bigger than land. By noon, the stable was patched, and Clara invited them for lunch. The farmhouse kitchen smelled of fresh bread and stew, the table set with mismatched plates. Lily chattered about school, her new art project, a mural for the town fair. "Can you come, Clara?" she asked, spoon halfway to her mouth. Clara smiled, pouring water. "Wouldn't miss it." "Kid." Jack watched, his heart full. Lily hadn't bonded like this since Sarah, and Clara's warmth was a gift he couldn't repay. After lunch, Lily ran to play with Max, leaving Jack and Clara at the table. The cookies sat open, half eaten, crumbs scattered. Jack leaned forward, his voice low. "You said later. It's later." Clara's fingers tightened on her mug, her gaze flicking to the window. "It's complicated." "Jack, my dad, he wasn't just a farmer. He built tech companies, invested smart, left me more than this farm." Jack frowned, piecing it together. "Money." Clara nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "A lot. I don't live like it, but it's there." Jack's mind raced. The beat-up truck, the simple clothes Clara lived like she had nothing. "Why hide it?" he asked. "Careful." Clara's eyes were distant, fixed on the fields. Dad taught me to give, not take. I fund things schools, clinics, quiet projects. If people know, they expect, they demand. I learned that the hard way. Jack nodded, understanding. And Hayes knows. Clara's jaw tightened. He suspects, wants the farm for its land, but also what's behind it. My name carries weight. Jack leaned back, the truth settling. Clara wasn't just a farmer, she was a shadow philanthropist. Her wealth a secret she guarded fiercely. That's why you won't sell, he said. More statement than question. Clara met his gaze, her eyes fierce but tired. This farm's my anchor. Without it, I'm just money. And that's not who I am. Jack saw it then, the burden she carried. The fight to stay true to herself. You're more than that, Clara, he said, his voice firm. Lily sees it. I see it. Her smile was small, vulnerable. Thanks, Jack. Means more than you know. The air shifted, a quiet connection forming. Jack wanted to reach for her hand, to ease her load. But Lily's laughter outside broke the moment. Clara stood, clearing plates. Let's check on her, she said, her guard slipping back into place. That afternoon, Jack worked on a gate near the pasture, Clara hauling posts beside him. Lily sketched nearby, her giggles mixing with Max's barks. The farm was peaceful, but Jack's mind wasn't. Clara's wealth changed nothing. He didn't want her money, but it explained Hayes' persistence. The man wasn't just after land, he was after power. Leverage, a piece of Clara's hidden empire. Jack's fists clenched at the thought. Clara didn't deserve that fight. As they finished the gate, a low rumble sounded the now familiar growl of a black sedan. Hayes again, his car sleek against the farm's dust. Clara froze, her hammer slipping to the ground. Damn it, she muttered, striding toward the drive. Jack followed, his gut tight. Stay with Lily, he told her, but Clara shook her head, her eyes blazing. My fight, Jack. Hayes stepped out, his suit crisp, a smug smile on his face. A second man joined him, older, gray-haired, his briefcase embossed with a logo Jack didn't recognize. Clara, Hayes said, his voice smooth. This is Mr. Vaughn, my investor. We're here to make a final offer. Clara crossed her arms, her stance unyielding. I told you, Richard, no deal. Vaughn spoke, his tone clipped. Mrs. Thornton, your land's worth millions. Our project, a resort. Jobs. Growth benefits everyone. Why resist? Clara's laugh was sharp, bitter. Benefits you. Maybe this farm's not a bargaining chip. Hayes' smile didn't waver. You're stubborn, Clara, but we know about your resources. Sell now, or things get complicated. Jack's blood boiled, his voice cutting through. She said no. Hayes, back off. Hayes' eyes flicked to him. Dismissive. The carpenter. Right? Stay out of this. Brennan, you're out of your depth. Clara stepped forward, her voice low and dangerous. Threaten me again, Richard, and you'll regret it. Vaughn raised a hand. Conciliatory. No threats. Miss it, Thornton. Just business. Think it over. Hayes smirked, sliding into the car. Clocks ticking. Clara. The sedan sped off, dust swirling in its wake. Clara stood rigid, her fists clenched. Jack touched her arm. Gentle. You okay? She nodded, but her eyes were stormy. They won't stop, she said, her voice tight. Jack frowned, glancing at Lily, who was watching. Her sketchbook forgotten. What's he mean? Complicated. Clara shook her head, her braid swaying. Legal games. Pressure. They'll dig. Find my accounts. Twist it. Jack's jaw tightened. Let him try. You're not alone. Her eyes met his, surprised, then softened. You don't have to do this, Jack. He held her gaze. Steady. I want to. For a moment, neither spoke. The farm's quiet wrapping around them. Lily ran over, breaking the tension. Clara, you okay? She asked, her voice small. Clara knelt, smiling despite her strain. I'm fine, kid. Just grown-up stuff. Lily hugged her, and Clara's eyes glistened, her guard cracking. That evening, Clara invited them to stay, her voice insistent. No arguments, she said, leading them to the farmhouse. Dinner was quiet, the air heavy with unspoken concerns. Lily drew at the table, her chatter lighter but subdued. Clara served chili, her movements mechanical, her mind elsewhere. Jack watched her, wanting to ease her burden but unsure how. After dinner, Lily curled up with Max by the fire, her eyes drooping. Clara and Jack sat on the porch, coffee cooling in their hands. The night crisp. He's not bluffing, Clara said, her voice low. Hayes has connections. If he finds my accounts, he'll use them publicity. Lawsuits. Anything to force my hand. Jack frowned, the stars sharp overhead. Why is he so obsessed? Clara sighed, her breath visible in the coal. My dad's name. His investments. The farm's just the start. If Hayes gets it, he gets leverage. A way to tap what I've built. Jack's mind spun. Built. Clara nodded, hesitant. I fund projects, hospitals, libraries, shelters, off the books, through trusts. If that's exposed, it's not just me. It's the people I help. Jack leaned forward, stunned. Clara wasn't just rich, she was changing lives. Quietly, deliberately. That's incredible, he said, his voice soft. Clara's smile was wry. It's what keeps me going. But it's a target too. Jack nodded, understanding. You're protecting more than the farm. Her eyes met his, raw. Yeah, and I'm tired. Jack. The admission hit him, her vulnerability a rare glimpse. He reached for her hand, his calluses brushing her skin. You don't have to carry it alone, he said, his voice firm. Clara didn't pull away, her fingers warm in his. I'm not good at letting go, she admitted, her voice barely audible. Jack squeezed her hand. Gentle. Learn. For a moment, they sat, hands linked. The night still, Jack's heart raced. Clara's presence, a warmth he hadn't known he craved. But Lily's yawn from inside broke the spell. Clara pulled back. Standing, she needs sleep, she said, her voice steady again. Jack nodded, reluctant but grateful. Yeah, we should go. The next day, Jack returned alone, leaving Lily at school. Clara was in the barn, mucking stalls, her movements fierce, like she was battling her thoughts. Morning, Jack said, leaning on the doorframe. She glanced up, her face flushed. Hey, porch job's ready when you are. Jack nodded, but didn't move. Clara. About last night, she cut him off, her voice sharp. Don't, Jack. I can't, not now. He nodded, respecting her walls, but the sting lingered. He worked on the porch, replacing the railing, his hammer's rhythm grounding him. Clara brought water, her silence heavy. By noon, she joined him, sanding a post, her focus sharp. "I'm sorry," she said finally, her voice low, "for snapping. It's not you." Jack met her gaze. "Steady. I know, but I'm here, Clara, whether you want me or not." Her eyes softened, a flicker of gratitude. "I want you," she said, then flushed, correcting herself. "I mean, your help. With the farm." Jack smiled, letting it slide. "Got it." They worked side by side, the tension easing. Clara's strength, her quiet resolve, drew him in deeper. He didn't need her money, her secrets, just her. But Hayes's threat loomed, and Jack knew time was short. That afternoon, a new car arrived, not Hayes's sedan, but a white SUV. Its driver, a woman in a navy coat. Clara tensed, muttering, "Ellen." She strode to meet her, Jack watching from the porch. Ellen's voice was calm, professional. "Clara, the board's concerned. Hayes's investors are digging. Your trusts, they're at risk." Clara's reply was sharp. "Then protect them, Ellen. That's your job." Ellen sighed, handing her a folder. "Read this. We need a plan." Clara returned, the folder clutched tight, her face pale. "What's that?" Jack asked, cautious. She hesitated, then opened it, showing him a list names, numbers, projects. "My work," she said, her voice low. "Schools, clinics, homes. If Hayes exposes this, it's over." Jack scanned the list, stunned. Millions, funneled to communities, all under Clara's quiet hand. "You've done all this?" he asked, his voice soft. Clara nodded, her eyes tired. "It's why I fight." Jack's respect deepened, but so did his worry. "What's the plan?" Clara shook her head, closing the folder. "I don't know. Ellen's working on it, but Hayes is close." Jack frowned, his mind racing. "You need leverage, something to push him back." Clara's eyes met his, curious. "Like what?" Jack hesitated, then said, "Find dirt. He's not clean. Nobody that pushy is." Clara's smile was faint, but real. "You're not just a carpenter. Are you?" That evening, Jack picked Lily up from school, her chatter about the mural filling the truck. At home, he cooked spaghetti, the overdue bill burning in his mind. Clara's fight was hers, but it was his too now. He couldn't lose the farm, not when it meant so much to Lily, to him. After dinner, Lily drew, her sketchbook open to a new page. Clara, Jack, and her, standing by the shed, a family. Jack's throat tightened. He wanted that, more than he'd let himself admit. Later, on the porch, Jack called an old friend from Chicago, a private investigator named Mike. "Need a favor," Jack said, his voice low. "Guy named Richard Hayes. Real estate. Montana. Dig into him." Mike grunted. Skeptical. "You in trouble." "Brennan." Jack sighed. The stars cold above. "Not yet. Just helping a friend." Mike agreed, promising to call back. Jack hung up. Clara's face in his mind, her strength, her secrets, her hand in his. The next morning, Jack returned to the farm, Lily in tow. Clara was waiting, coffee in hand, her smile brighter. "Porch looks good." she said, nodding at his work. Jack grinned. Taking the mug. Told you I'm handy. Lily ran to Max, her laughter echoing. Clara watched her, then turned to Jack, her voice low. I called Ellen. She's looking into Hayes. Your idea. Jack nodded. Relieved. Good. We'll beat him. They worked on a new job, fixing a water trough side by side. Their rhythm easy. But Jack saw it now. Clara's fight wasn't just for the farm. It was for the people her money helped. The lives she changed. He admired her, cared for her, maybe more. As the sun set, Clara touched his arm, her eyes warm. Thanks, Jack, for staying. Jack met her gaze, his heart full. Nowhere else I'd rather be. But in the distance, a black sedan idled on the road, its driver watching. Hayes wasn't done, and Jack knew the fight was far from over. The sky over Willow Creek hung heavy with gray clouds, the air thick with the promise of rain. Jack Brennan's truck rattled along the dirt road to Thornton Farm, its wipers smearing dust across the windshield. Lily sat beside him, her sketchbook open to a half-finished drawing of a barn under a stormy sky. Her pencil idle. Dad, is Clara in trouble? She asked, her voice small, her hazel eyes searching his face. Jack's grip tightened on the wheel, caught off guard. Why do you ask? Lil. She shrugged, looking down. That man keeps coming. She looked sad. Jack's chest tightened. Lily was too sharp, picking up on Clara's strain. The shadow of Richard Hayes' visits. It had been 4 days since Hayes' latest threat, since Clara revealed her secret, her billionaire inheritance, funneled into quiet acts of philanthropy. Jack hadn't told Lily, shielding her from the weight of it. But her question cut deep. Clara's strong, he said, forcing a smile. She's handling it. We're helping, right? Lily nodded, her braid bobbing, but her frown lingered. I drew her a picture. To cheer her up, Jack glanced at the sketchbook, his heart swelling. She'll love it. Kiddo. They pulled into Thornton Farm, the fields muted under the overcast sky. Clara stood by the barn, her flannel jacket zipped against the chill, her dark braid tucked under a cap. Max, the shaggy collie, bounded toward the truck, barking. Lily hopped out, clutching her sketchbook, and ran to him, giggling as he nuzzled her. Clara's face softened, a tired smile breaking through. Morning. You two. She called, her voice steady but strained. Jack stepped out, toolbox in hand, noting the shadows under her eyes. Morning. Clara. Sleep okay? She shrugged, her gaze flicking to the horizon. Well enough. Got a job for you, leaky pipe in the farmhouse. Think you can handle plumbing? Jack grinned, setting his toolbox down. Carpentry. Plumbing. I'm your guy. Lead the way. Clara nodded, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. Lily ran over, thrusting her sketchbook forward. Clara, I made this for you. The drawing showed Clara and Max by the shed, surrounded by flower, the sun bright above. Clara's breath caught, her fingers tracing the page. Lily, this is beautiful. Thank you. She hugged Lily, her eyes glistening, and Jack saw it gratitude, but also a flicker of fear. They headed to the farmhouse, Max trotting at Lily's heels. The kitchen was warm, smelling of coffee and wood polish, but the air felt heavy. Jack knelt by the sink, inspecting the pipe, while Clara handed him tools, her movements quick but distracted. Lily sat at the table, sketching, humming softly. Hayes called last night, Clara said, her voice low, barely audible over the clank of Jack's wrench. He paused, looking up. What did he want? Clara's jaw tightened. Same thing. Sell the farm. Said he's got evidence now. My trusts. My projects. He's close. Jack's stomach nodded. Hayes was digging deeper, unearthing Clara's hidden philanthropy schools, clinics, shelters funded through her father's fortune. Evidence. Jack asked, keeping his voice calm. Clara nodded, leaning against the counter. Ellen, my lawyer says he's got documents. Not enough to expose me, but enough to pressure. He's threatening to go public. Jack frowned, tightening a fitting. Public how? Clara's eyes were dark. Weary. News. Social media. Whatever hurts most. He wants me cornered. Jack stood, wiping his hands on a rag. He's bluffing, trying to scare you. Clara's laugh was bitter, short. Maybe, but he's good at this. Jack. Too good. Her voice cracked, and Jack saw it, the toll of her fight, the weight of protecting her father's legacy. He stepped closer, his voice firm. He's not getting this farm. Clara, not while I'm here. Her eyes met his, searching, a flicker of hope breaking through. You mean that? Jack nodded. Steady, every word. Lily looked up, sensing the shift. Is that man coming back? She asked, her pencil still. Clara knelt beside her, smiling despite her strain. Don't worry, kid. We've got this. Lily nodded, but her eyes were wide, uncertain. Jack's heart ached. He wanted to shield her, to shield them both. But Hayes was a storm closing in. By noon, the pipe was fixed, the kitchen floor dry. Clara made sandwiches, ham, thick bread, homemade pickles, and they ate on the porch, the clouds darkening above. Lily chattered about her mural, due at the town fair in 2 days, her excitement cutting through the tension. It's got horses. Clara and Max. Clara smiled, her guard easing. Can't wait to see it. Kid. Jack watched them, the bond between them a light in the gloom. Clara was more than a client now, more than a friend. She was family, whether he admitted it or not. As they finished, a low rumble sounded a car on the drive. Jack's pulse quickened, expecting Hayes' black sedan. Instead, a gray pickup appeared. Its driver, a broad-shouldered man in a plaid jacket. Clara relaxed, standing. That's Tom, she said, waving. Tom. Her hired hand, parked and approached, his face grim. Clara, we got a problem. South fence is down, not broken cut. Cattle scattered. Clara's face hardened, her sandwich forgotten. Cut. Tom nodded, spitting into the dirt. Wire snips. Clean job. Someone's messing with us. Jack's gut twisted. Hayes. It had to be. You sure it's deliberate? He asked, standing. Tom's eyes narrowed. Seen enough fences to know this ain't whether or where. Clara's fists clenched, her voice low. Get the hands. Tom, round up the cattle. Jack, can you fix the fence? Jack nodded, grabbing his toolbox. On it, Lily's eyes were wide, her voice small. Why would someone do that? Clara knelt, squeezing her shoulder. Just troublemakers. Lily, we'll handle it. They drove to the south pasture, Clara's truck leading the way. The fence was a mess, wires sliced, posts leaning, hoofprints trailing into the brush. Jack cursed under his breath, his suspicions hardening. Hayes wasn't just threatening now, he was acting, hitting Clara where it hurt. This is low, Jack said, kneeling to inspect the cuts. Clara's face was stone, her voice tight. It's a message. Sell, or he'll keep coming. Jack met her gaze, his anger matching hers. He's picking the wrong fight. They worked fast. Jack splicing wires, Clara hammering posts, Tom and two hands herding cattle back. Lily stayed close, sketching in the truck, Max guarding her. The clouds thickened. A drizzle starting, cold and relentless. Jack's hands were numb, his shirt soaked, but he didn't stop. Clara worked beside him, her focus fierce, her braid dripping. You don't have to do this, she said, her voice rough. Jack drove a post deep, his eyes on hers. Yes, I do. By dusk, the fence was up, the cattle contained. Tom tipped his hat, driving off with the hands. Clara leaned against the truck, her face pale, exhaustion etched in her features. Thank you, Jack, she said, her voice soft. He shrugged, brushing mud from his hands. Team effort. Lily ran over, hugging Clara's waist. You're like a superhero. Clara laughed, weary but real, ruffling Lily's hair. Not quite. Kid. Back at the farmhouse, Clara insisted they stay for dinner. You're soaked, she said, tossing Jack a towel. No arguments. The kitchen was warm, the smell of roasted chicken and potatoes grounding them. Lily drew at the table, her chatter lighter now, the day's tension fading. Clara moved quietly, her hands steady but her eyes distant. Jack watched her, wanting to ease her worry, to fight her battles. After dinner, Lily fell asleep on the couch. Max curled beside her, her sketchbook open to a drawing of Clara fixing the fence, fierce and strong. Jack and Clara sat on the porch, coffee steaming, the rain a soft patter. The night was dark, the farm quiet except for the drip of water from the eaves. It was haze, Clara said, her voice low. Certain. Jack nodded, his mug warm in his hands. No doubt. He's escalating. Clara's eyes were fixed on the fields, her voice tight. He's not just after the farm now. He wants to break me. Jack leaned forward, his voice firm. He won't. You're tougher than he knows. Clara's smile was faint, strained. Am I? This fight, it's bigger than me. The trusts, the projects if he exposes them. It's not just my life. It's schools closing, clinics losing funds. People depend on me. Jack's heart ached, her burden clearer now. Clara wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for strangers, for lives she'd touched in silence. You're not alone, he said, his voice soft but sure. I'm in this, Clara. For you, for them. Her eyes met his. Raw, vulnerable. Why? Jack, you don't owe me anything. He hesitated, then spoke, his voice rough with truth. Because you're good, Clara. You care. You fight. You make Lily smile. That's enough. Her breath hitched, her guard crumbling. She reached for his hand, her fingers cold but firm. I don't deserve you, she whispered. Jack squeezed her hand, his heart pounding. You do, more than you know. The moment held, charged, the rain a soft curtain around them. Jack wanted to pull her close, to promise she'd never face Hayes alone. But his phone buzzed, shattering the silence. He glanced at it, Mike, his investigator friend from Chicago. I gotta take this, he said, reluctant. Clara nodded, releasing his hand. Go. Jack stepped into the yard, the rain cool on his face. Mike, what you got? Mike's voice was gruff, Urgent. Your boy Hayes is dirty. Shady deals. Bribed officials. Land grabs in 3 states. Got records, emails. Payments. Sending them now. Jack's pulse raced. Hope flaring. Solid enough to stop him. Mike grunted. If you use it right, he's got enemies. Jack, be careful. Jack hung up. The email pinging on his phone. Evidence leveraged to push Hayes back. He returned to the porch. Clara watching him. Curious. Good news, she asked, her voice cautious. Jack nodded. A grim smile forming. Hayes has skeletons. My guy found dirt deals. Bribes. Enough to scare him off. Maybe. Clara's eyes widened. Hope flickering. You're sure? Jack handed her the phone, showing the email. Read it. We've got a shot. Clara scanned the files, her face shifting shock, then resolve. This could work, she said, her voice stronger. Ellen can use this. Threaten a lawsuit. Expose him first. Jack nodded, relief washing over him. We hit him where it hurts. His reputation. Clara's smile was fierce, a spark of her fight returning. You're full of surprises. Brennan. The next morning, Jack woke to a text from Clara. Ellen's on it. Meet me at the farm. He dropped Lily at school, her mural nearly done, her excitement a bright spot in his worry. At Thornton Farm, Clara was waiting, coffee in hand, her face determined. Ellen filed a cease and desist, she said, handing him a mug. Used your evidence. Hayes called an hour ago, furious, but rattled. Jack grinned, sipping the coffee. Good. Let him squirm. They worked on a new job, fixing a hayloft ladder side by side, their rhythm easy. Clara was lighter, her smiles frequent. The weight of Hayes's threat lifting. You didn't have to do this, she said, passing a rung. Jack shrugged, nailing it in place. Couldn't let him win. Her eyes met his. Warm. You're stubborn. You know that. Jack laughed, the sound echoing in the barn. Takes one to know one. By noon, Ellen arrived, her white SUV pulling up. She stepped out, folder in hand, her face calm but urgent. Clara, we need to talk, she said, glancing at Jack. Clara nodded, leading them to the porch. Ellen spread documents on the table, emails, bank records, proof of Hayes's deals. This is enough to file charges, she said, her voice firm. But he's countering. Claims he's got your trust details. Clara. Enough to leak. Clara's face paled, her voice tight. Can you stop him? Ellen sighed, adjusting her glasses. We're trying. But you need to prepare. If this goes public, your work's exposed. Jack's stomach sank. Clara's philanthropy. Her life's purpose was at risk. What's the move? He asked, his voice steady. Ellen looked at Clara, her tone careful. Go public first. Control the story. Announce your projects, your trusts. It's risky, but it cuts Hayes's leverage. Clara's fists clenched, her eyes stormy. That's my life. Ellen. My privacy. Ellen nodded. Sympathetic. I know, but it's your best shot. Clara stood, pacing, her braids swinging. Jack watched, his heart aching. You don't have to decide now, he said, his voice soft. Clara stopped, her eyes meeting his. Torn. If I do this, everything changes. The farm, my work, me. Jack stood, stepping closer, You're still you, Clara. No matter what. Her breath hitched, her guard cracking. You make it sound simple. Jack smiled. Gentle. It's not, but you're not alone. That evening, Claire invited them to the town fair, needing a break. Lily's mural was unveiled a vibrant scene of Willow Creek. Horses galloping. Max at the center. The crowd clapped. Lily beaming. Clara and Jack cheering loudest. You're a star. Kid, Clara said, hugging her. Lily grinned, clutching her ribbon. You came. Jack watched them, his heart full. But Clara's smile hid worry, Hayes' threat lingering. After, they sat by the fair's bonfire, Lily roasting marshmallows, Max at her side. Clara leaned against Jack, her voice low. I'm scared. Jack, going public, it's losing who I am. He turned, his eyes steady. You're not losing anything. You're showing the world what you've done. That's strength. Clara's eyes glistened, her hand finding his. Stay with me. Okay. Jack squeezed her hand, his voice firm. Always. The fire crackled, Lily's laughter rising. Jack knew the fight wasn't over. Hayes would strike again, and Clara's choice would change everything. But here, with Clara's hand in his, Lily's joy lighting the night, he felt it. Hope. Fragile but real. They'd faced the storm together. The first light of dawn crept over Willow Creek, gilding the fields of Thornton Farm in soft gold. Jack Brennan's truck rolled down the familiar dirt road, its engine a steady hum against the morning's quiet. Lily sat beside him, her sketchbook open, adding stars to a drawing of the farmhouse under a night sky. Dad, is today the day? She asked, her voice bright but edged with worry. Jack glanced at her, her hazel eyes reflecting the sunrise. Yeah, Lil, he said, his tone calm but firm. Today we finish this. It had been a week since the town fair, since Clara's hand in his by the bonfire, her plea, stay with me, echoing in his heart. Richard Hayes' threat loomed larger, his claim of evidence against Clara's secret trusts, a blade held too close. Clara had wrestled with Ellen's advice. Go public, reveal her philanthropy, and steal Hayes' leverage. The choice would change her life, exposing her billionaire inheritance and the schools, clinics, and shelters she funded in silence. Jack had seen her fear, her resolve, her strength. Today, she'd decide, and he'd stand by her, no matter what. They parked at the farm, the air crisp, smelling of hay and dew. Clara stood by the porch, her flannel shirt tucked into jeans, her braid loose, her green eyes steady but tired. Max bounded over, tail wagging, and Lily scrambled out, giggling as the collie licked her face. Max, she squealed, dropping her sketchbook to hug him. Clara's smile was warm, but her posture was tense, a storm brewing beneath her calm. Morning, she said, handing Jack a thermos of coffee, ready for a big day. Jack took the thermos, his fingers brushing hers. A quiet connection. Ready, he said, meeting her gaze. You okay? Clara nodded, but her eyes flicked to the drive, as if expecting Hayes' black sedan. Ellen's coming. We're meeting at 9's. I think I'm doing it. Jack, going public. Her voice was firm, but her hands trembled, betraying her nerves. Jack stepped closer, his voice low. You're sure? Clara's eyes held his. Raw. No, but it's the only way. Lily ran over, clutching a new drawing. A family. 3 figures by the shed, Max at their feet. For you, Clara. she said, thrusting it forward. Clara knelt, her breath catching as she studied it. Herself, Jack, Lily, a unit, a home. This is perfect. Kid, she said, her voice thick, hugging Lily tight. Jack watched, his throat tight. Lily saw it a future he wanted, one Clara was part of. If they could weather this final fight. Inside the farmhouse, the kitchen was warm, the smell of fresh biscuits grounding them. Clara set the table, her movements deliberate, while Lily drew, humming. Max sprawled nearby. Jack leaned against the counter, sipping coffee, his mind on Hayes. Mike's evidence emails. Bribes? Proof of Hayes's dirty deals had rattled the man, but not enough. Ellen's cease and desist had bought time, but Hayes was relentless. His counter-threat to leak Clara's trusts a ticking clock. Jack's jaw tightened. Today, they'd end it. Ellen arrived at 9, her white SUV pulling up, her navy coat crisp against the farm's dust. She carried a briefcase, her face calm but focused. Clara, she said, stepping onto the porch. We're ready. Clara nodded, leading them to the dining table, where papers were spread, trust documents, project lists, a press release drafted in sharp prose. Jack sat beside Clara, Lily sketching quietly, sensing the weight of the moment. Ellen opened her laptop, her voice steady. If you go public, we control the narrative. Announce your work schools, clinics, shelters. Show the world who you are. Hayes loses his leverage. Clara's fingers traced the press release, her eyes distant. And if I don't, Ellen sighed, adjusting her glasses. He leaks it, twists it, paints you as a secretive billionaire hoarding wealth. Your projects could lose funding. The farm could be targeted. Jack's stomach knotted. Clara's philanthropy, millions funneled to communities, was her heart, her father's legacy. Losing it would break her. He's got you cornered, Jack said, his voice low. But you're stronger than him. Clara's eyes met his, searching, a flicker of resolve breaking through. You really believe that? Jack nodded, his hand finding hers under the table. A silent promise. Always. Lily looked up, her voice small. Clara, you help people, right? Like superheroes. Clara smiled. Soft but real. Something like that. Kid. Lily grinned, pointing to her drawing. Then you should tell everyone. Heroes don't hide. The simplicity of it hit Clara, her eyes glistening. She squeezed Jack's hand, then turned to Ellen. Do it. Send the release. Ellen nodded, typing swiftly, her fingers a blur. It'll hit major outlets by noon. I've got a contact at the local paper for a feature. 2. You're in control now. Clara exhaled, her shoulders easing, but her face was tight, the weight of her choice settling. Jack squeezed her hand, his voice firm. You did the right thing. By noon, the news broke. Jack's phone buzzed with alerts, headlines flashing across X. News sites, even the local radio. Montana farmer, revealed as billionaire philanthropist. Funds schools and shelters nationwide. Clara's name was everywhere. Her story laid bare her father's tech empire, her quiet giving, her fight to keep Thornton Farm. The local paper's feature was kind, painting her as a hero, not a recluse. Clara sat at the table, her phone silent, her face pale. It's done, she said, her voice barely audible. Jack sat beside her, his arm around her shoulders. You're free now, but freedom came with a cost. By afternoon, reporters called, their voicemails piling up. A news van parked at the farm's gate, its crew respectful but persistent. Clara stayed inside, her guard up, while Jack fielded them, his voice gruff. No comment. Let her be. Lily watched, her sketchbook open, her drawings now of Clara with a cape, flying over the farm. They think she's cool, right? She asked. Hopeful. Jack smiled, ruffling her hair. Yeah, Lil. They do. Ellen stayed, monitoring reactions. Her laptop, a command center. It's positive so far, she said, scrolling X. People admire you. Clara. You're trending as the secret hero. Pentas. Clara's laugh was wry. Tired. Hero. Feels more like I'm naked. Jack chuckled, his hand on her back. You're still you. That's what matters. She leaned into him, her tension easing, a quiet trust forming. As dusk fell, a familiar rumble sounded Hayes' black sedan, its sleek frame jarring against the farm's peace. Jack's blood boiled, his fists clenching. Clara stood, her face stone, but her eyes were fierce. Let's end this, she said, striding to the drive. Jack followed, Lily staying with Ellen, Max at her side. Hayes stepped out, his suit pristine, but his smirk was gone, replaced by a scowl. A woman joined him, sharp suit, clipboard, her eyes cold. Clara, Hayes said, his voice tight. You've made a mistake. Clara crossed her arms, her stance unyielding. No, Richard, you did. The world knows who I am now. Your leverage is gone. Hayes' eyes narrowed, his voice low. You think this stops me? I've got investors, lawyers. This farm's mine. Jack stepped forward, his voice a growl. Try it. Hayes, we've got your emails, your bribes. One call, and you're done. Hayes' face paled, his confidence cracking. The woman, his lawyer, touched his arm, murmuring, Richard, we should go. Clara's voice cut through, sharp and final. Leave. Richard, don't come back. Hayes glared, his jaw tight, then slid into the car, the woman following. The sedan sped off, dust swirling, its taillights fading into the twilight. Clara exhaled, her shoulders slumping, relief washing over her. Jack touched her arm. Gentle. It's over. She turned, her eyes glistening, and hugged him, her grip fierce. Thank you, Jack, she whispered, her voice breaking. He held her, his heart full, the farm's quiet wrapping around them. That evening, Clara cooked dinner steak, potatoes, green beans, a feast to celebrate. The farmhouse was warm, laughter filling the air. Lily chattered about her mural, now a town favorite, her ribbon pinned to the fridge. Max begged for scraps, his tail thumping. Ellen joined them, her briefcase forgotten, her smile genuine. You did it. Clara, she said, raising a glass of cider. You're free. Clara clinked her glass, her eyes bright. We did it. After dinner, Lily fell asleep on the couch, her sketchbook open to a new drawing. Clara, Jack, and her, hands linked, the farm glowing behind them. Jack and Clara sat on the porch, coffee steaming, the stars sharp overhead. The night was still, the farm at peace, Hayes' shadow gone. I was scared, Clara admitted, her voice soft, losing my privacy, my work. But this, it feels right. Jack nodded, his eyes on her. You showed the world who you are. That's power. Clara's smile was warm, unguarded. You made it possible. Jack, you and Lily. She reached for his hand, her fingers weaving with his. Stay. Okay. Not just for the farm. For me. Jack's heart raced. Her words, a promise he'd longed for. I'm not going anywhere, he said, his voice rough with emotion. He leaned in, their lips meeting, a kiss soft but sure, sealing a future they'd build together. The next morning, Jack woke in the guest room, Lily still asleep, her sketchbook clutched tight. Clara was in the kitchen, pancakes sizzling, her smile brighter than the dawn. Morning, she said, sliding a plate his way. Big day. Jack raised a brow, biting into a pancake. Yeah. What's up? Clara's eyes sparkled. Playful. Town meeting. They want me to talk about the projects. The farm. I said yes. Jack grinned. Proud. Look at you. Hero. The meeting was held at Willow Creek's community center. The room packed farmers, teachers, families, even reporters. Clara stood at the podium, her flannel swapped for a simple blouse, her voice steady. I'm Clara Thornton, she began, her eyes finding Jack and Lily in the crowd. This farm's my home, my father's dream. I've funded projects, schools, clinics, shelters not for fame, but because it's right. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm here, and I'm staying. The crowd erupted, clapping, some standing. Lily bounced in her seat, whispering, She's awesome. Jack nodded, his chest tight with pride. Clara spoke of her plans, more funding, local projects, a community garden on the farm. This is our home, she said, her voice strong. Let's build it together. The applause was deafening. Willow Creek claiming her as their own. Weeks passed. The farm thriving under new light. Clara's projects grew. Her trusts now public. Her work a beacon. The farm became a hub, volunteers planting the garden, kids playing with Max, Lily's drawings pinned in the barn. Jack took on bigger jobs, his carpentry skills in demand, his Chicago debts fading with Clara's steady pay. He and Lily moved into a small house nearby, but Thornton Farm was home. Their evenings spent with Clara, their bond deepening. One crisp evening, Jack and Clara sat on the porch, Lily sketching by the fire, Max at her feet. I got a call, Clara said, her voice soft. A foundation wants to partner, expand the clinics. Big money. No strings. Jack raised a brow, impressed. You're changing the world. Thornton. She laughed, leaning against him. You're part of this. Jack. You and Lily. He looked at her, the stars reflecting in her eyes, and knew it love. Real and unshakable. Marry me, he said, the words spilling out. Raw and true. Clara's breath caught, her smile wide. You serious? Jack nodded, his hand finding hers. Never been more sure. She kissed him, her answer clear, her laughter mixing with his. Yes, she whispered, her voice a promise. Months later, Thornton Farm glowed under a summer sun, its fields lush, the community garden blooming. Clara and Jack married in the pasture. A simple ceremony, Lily as flower girl, Max carrying the rings, the town cheering. Clara's dress was white, her braid woven with flowers, her smile radiant. Jack, in a suit, held her hand, his vows steady. I'll build with you, fight with you, love you always. Clara's vows echoed, her voice strong. You're my home, Jack. You and Lily. The reception was a feast, tables under the stars. Music rising. Lily dancing with Max. Clara's projects flourished. Her name a symbol of hope. Hayes faded. His deals exposed. His influence gone. Jack's carpentry shop opened in town. Lily's art on its walls. Her laughter filling their days. Thornton Farm stood strong. A legacy of love, trust, and a new dawn. In Willow Creek, Montana, where fields stretch under endless skies, I, Clara Thornton, learned that life isn't just about holding on to what you have, it's about daring to share and trust. Thornton Farm is more than land or my father's old wooden house. It's the heart of dreams, where I quietly poured love into schools, clinics, and shelters for those who need them most. When Richard Hayes came, with his threats and temptations, I was scared. Scared of losing my privacy, of losing myself. But Jack Brennan and little Lily changed everything. Jack, with his steady hands and honest heart, stood by me, not for money, but for belief. Lily, with her colorful drawings, reminded me that heroes don't hide. They taught me that family isn't just blood, it's the people who stay when the storm hits. Today, I stand before the world, no longer a secret, but a promise. I chose to go public, not to save myself, but to protect the dreams I've nurtured. Hayes lost, not because of money, but because selfishness can't outshine human connection. Thornton Farm is now a community's home, where kids laugh, where seeds grow in our shared garden. Jack and Lily are my family, my guiding light. My message is simple: trust, be brave, and build together in the hardest moments. It's love and unity that lead us to a new dawn. This farm, this life, is proof you don't need to be loud to make a difference. You just need to care, to show up, and to hold on to what matters. So, here's to Willow Creek, to the people who fight for each other, and to the future we'll shape hand in hand. Thank you all so much for sticking with their story through every twist, turn, and heartfelt moment. Your support has truly brought this journey to life, and I'm so grateful for each of you. If you loved the finale, please give it a like. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What was your favorite part? Or how did the ending make you feel? This may be the end of their tale, but who knows what stories we'll share next. Stay tuned for more. And thanks again for being part of this adventure.